Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This morning I'm going to be reacting to a video requested by Sherla7480. It's called Tom Brokaw Explains Canada to Americans, and you can find it on the Fred Hodgins YouTube channel. Yes, this is in relation to my reaction to a travel video on Vancouver, Canada. And yes, Sherla7480 requested that I should react to this video that pertains to the relationship between Canada and America. Yeah. Okay, let's see what this is about. 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Peace Arch standing near the westernmost edge of the U.S.-Canadian border, 30 miles south of the Olympic City, between Blaine and Washington State, and Surrey, British Columbia. This was dedicated in 1921 to commemorate the treaty that ended the War of 1812 between the U.S. and Great Britain. Remember, Canada was a British colony. That was a long time ago, but the inscription on the arch sums up the relationship. May these gates never be closed. We share more than a long border, of course. No dotted line can divide our joint stewardship of a treasure of natural riches. From the Atlantic to the Pacific, and back again. Shorelines, wild rivers, and Great Lakes, vast forest and grasslands, precious ores buried in majestic mountains, and wildlife everywhere. From sea to shining sea.
You know, when you think about North America, okay, let me just say from my own personal opinion on it. When you think about North America, there's only one country that comes to mind, and that is the United States of America. You don't really hear much about Canada, internationally, if I can say that. I haven't seen anything that is related to Canada, or maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant of things that might have been made in Canada, or, shows or television shows like that, or movies that were, done in Canada and it was distributed through an American company. I'm not entirely sure. But, in social circles, in social media, in political news or anything that has to attribute to that, like diplomatic missions of ambassadors and even the president of Canada, we rarely see this person. This person does not exist, in our minds. But we hear so much about the United States of America, and you have to actually look at the map of the North American continent to actually see there's actually two countries there. There's the United States and then there's Canada on top. So, I wonder why is it that Canada seems to be the quiet brother or sister in this relationship here between these two countries? Why is it that they are always not really noticeable? However, the United States is very noticeable. Yeah. That's just my own point of view, guys. All the way here from South Africa, we know more about the United States of America than we do about Canada, And Canada and South Africa share something similar, like in terms of our provinces. We have provinces instead of states, like the United States of America, where they have their 50 states. We have 9 provinces. I'm not sure how many provinces Canada has, but, there's something there. There's something there that I can relate with Canada. Yeah. Interesting.
Canada and the United States share another unique quality. They're immigrant nations, destinations for people around the world who long for political freedoms, economic opportunity, and a long tradition of compassion.
Yes, but also let us not forget how these countries came to be. Let us not forget that the land that these countries now exist on belonged to a different set of people. And when colonization began, those people were pushed back, were eradicated to make way for Canada and for the United States of America. Let's not forget that there is a dark past, and it's supposed to be part of your history. Yeah. So you can say, yes, your democratic nations, your immigrant nations, but also let us not forget how your countries began. It's very important. It shouldn't be swept under the rug.
Our two nations have the largest trading relationship in the world. $1.5 billion transacted every day. The two-way trade at the Ambassador Bridge between Detroit and Windsor alone equals all American exports to Japan. And we're so comfortable as neighbors. 200 million people across the common border every year.
That's impressive. 200 million people. Wow, it's as if, people in Canada are just visiting another province and people in the United States of America are visiting another state, Yeah, the way you guys are so chilled with each other. 200 million people, that's a lot, crossing the borders.
Canada, some may be surprised to learn, is America's largest oil supplier, and the United States is Canada's #1 tourist destination. In a snapshot, Canada is a huge country, second largest in the world next to Russia, but its population is only about a tenth the size of the United States, 34 million, split into 10 provinces and 3 territories.
10 provinces, okay.
90% of Canadians live within 100 miles of the U.S. border, residing in world-class cities, thriving farms and smaller towns. With good reason. Life in the Canadian North is only for the hardy. It is remote and oh so cold. The coldest day ever recorded in North America occurred in 1947 in Snag, Yukon, minus 81 degrees, not including wind chill.
Jesse the Sponge.
Canadians are so generous, they share with us their brightest stars in music, comedy, acting, sports, and journalism.
You see, this is important as well. I think, instead of looking at all of these superstars that we see in America and just assume that they're Americans, we have to research on them to see whether they are Americans or Canadians. And it's also because you guys also share the same sort of English accent. It sounds quite similar. So, I wouldn't know. I would just assume that this actor or this singer or this sports star is an American until they actually tell us, oh no, I'm actually from Canada, So that's also a similarity that you guys share. Your accent in terms of speaking English is very, very similar. Yeah.
And if you're in a fight, you want the Canadians on your side. They were in World War II before we were. They were there on D-Day, in the air and on the beaches. They've been America's most reliable partners in Afghanistan, and it's been costly and painful. Now, when Canada loses a warrior in that distant land, the nation pauses and honors the fallen along what is called the Highway of Heroes outside of Toronto. Even their diplomats have been there for us. In 1980, a year before the conclusion of the Iranian hostage crisis, 6 American embassy personnel would escape from Iran in an operation organized by Canadian Ambassador Ken Taylor.
The United States is thanking Canada for rescuing those 6 American diplomats from Iran.
Taylor hid the Americans after the U.S. Embassy was stormed, created fake Canadian passports, then flew the Americans out of Tehran with a bogus cover story. The 6 in disguise as a mob-looking Hollywood film crew, allegedly researching a prospective sci-fi flick. Now,
wow, that's a wow. They're like this. Canada and America are like this, guys. They are that close. They're even able to forge documents for each other to escape a very dicey situation in a foreign country. I don't think I've ever heard of another nation doing that, you know, for their neighboring countries. I in diplomatic circles, I don't think I've actually heard of anything like that. This is unique. This is unique. I don't know if Canada would have done the same for any other nation, like what they've done for these American diplomats. So definitely, America knows who to call if they're in trouble. Canada knows who to call if they're in trouble.
All these years later, Taylor has admitted he was formerly working for the CIA. And if the Iranians had discovered he was an American spy, he would have been in big, big trouble.
Whoa. Wow, you guys really are close. National security involves Canadian government as well as the American government in such close, working and dealings with each other. I mean, wow.
In our darkest hours, Canada has been with us. On September 11th, as the United States shut down its airspace, Canada instituted Operation Yellow Ribbon, landing 239 U.S.-bound flights with 33,000 passengers at 17 different Canadian airports. And then, amid the uncertainty that followed, entire communities housed and fed those thousands of passengers for days afterward. In the long history of sovereign neighbors, there never has been a relationship as close, productive, and peaceful as the U.S. and Canada.
It's kind of like the European Union, But in terms of the European Union, they've set laws that bind them together as a union. But with the Americans and the Canadians, it's different. Like, there are no set laws that bind them that way. They're just friendly with each other, like a natural growth of friendliness that has turned into a family, if I can say that. So who knows? Maybe one day there's going to be the North American Federation, unifying Canada and the United States of America into one nation. Yeah, it might sound funny now, but who knows? In the future, it might actually happen.
We share a continent and so much more. Speaking before the Canadian Parliament, President Kennedy summarized the relationship this way.
Geography has made us neighbors. History has made us friends. Economics has made us partners. And necessity has made us allies.
Those whom nature hath so joined together, said Kennedy, let no man put asunder.
Of course, there are some distinct differences in the culture. The American fans at these games will be unfurling their stars and stripes at every opportunity and chanting USA, USA. The Canadian Prime Minister had to go before Parliament yesterday and urge Canadians to engage in what he called an uncharacteristic outburst of patriotism, saying, don't be afraid to wave those flags. We'll apologize to the world for our immodesty later. So that's a big difference, Al.
Yeah, I can just imagine Canadians, chanting Canada, Canada. It'll be so weird. Like how the Americans also go USA, USA. Oh man. So yeah, definitely Canadians, take out your flags, wave them, chant your Canadian songs or Canadian support songs during an international game, like soccer or rugby. I don't know if they're in the Rugby World Cup this year. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to check about that. But yeah, I don't know if Canada plays cricket as well. I'm not sure about that. But, any international event, we need to see you guys at the stadiums. We need to see you guys supporting your national team. We need to see you guys flying that flag high so that we know that, oh, Canada actually exists. Canada is a country. It actually exists. It's not just the United States of America, there's also Canada. So yeah, you guys also need to lift up your voices. Yeah.
Hopes he has to do it very often. You know what struck me in that piece among all of the items? There are more people in California than there are in all of Canada.
Well, and Canada has a stronger and more sound economy at this point as well. That's a distinctive difference between the two.
Perfectly put. Thank you, Tom. See you during the week.
Okay, guys, that is it with Tom Brokaw Explains Canada to Americans, made, or should I say it, on the YouTube channel Fred Hodgins, and it was requested by Shirley7480. Yes. Yeah, the relationship between Canada and America really is unique. I don't think I've seen any other sovereign nations, having such a close relationship with their neighbors like this, where it's not only economic, it's military, it's espionage. That's really surprising to me, how close these guys are, in terms of covering their backs when it comes to espionage and diplomatic missions across the world. That means whenever you hear a Canadian speak about international issues, you should know that they're in the same voice with the United States of America. Always. Always. They're like this. So yeah, not only are they connected socially, economically, politically, as a people, but militarily as well as diplomatically across the world, they are in unison. They are in one voice. So yeah, that's amazing, really. They do resemble something like the European Union. And like I said before, maybe one day Canada and America might unify into one nation called the North American Federation or something. I don't know, maybe they'll call it something else. But yeah, it was interesting, really, to find out the relationship between these two countries. And the fact that there are people, like 200 million of them, cross the borders of Canada and America. That's amazing. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people, crossing the border. So yeah, you could say it's like already like a one nation, just that, they have different laws and different leadership structures, but essentially you could say that they're already one nation. Guys, I don't know why, but I'm forcing them to create that one nation in North America. I don't know why. But anyways, yeah, this was good. This was interesting to learn about. Thank you again to Shirley7480 for suggesting that I should react to this video. And guys, that is it. Remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as Fred Hodgins' YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. If you like my reaction, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay?